Your biggest threat isn't the economy, it's your own mind. I'll show you how stupidity, not failure, ruins 90% of people. I've lived long enough to know that most people make life far harder than it has to be. They chase noise, worship luck, and ignore the few quiet principles that actually move the needle. When you've spent as many decades watching human behavior as I have, you begin to see the same movie on repeat. Different actors, same mistakes. The tragedy is that the lessons are obvious only after they've already cost you something. People imagine there's a secret to wealth, but the truth is painfully simple. Most people can't handle simplicity. They want drama, shortcuts, excitement. Real success is quiet, unglamorous, almost boring. It's the compound effect of discipline, patience, and rational thought applied over decades. You don't need brilliance. You need sanity that lasts longer than everyone else's hysteria. When I was young, I thought intelligence was everything. I met brilliant people, lawyers, academics, engineers, people with IQs off the charts. Most of them ended up broke, bitter, or trapped in mediocrity. What they lacked wasn't intellect, it was temperament. They couldn't stay calm when life got loud. They chased every shiny object and called it ambition. The world doesn't reward that. It rewards clarity. I learned early that success is mostly about avoiding stupidity. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the one who doesn't self-destruct. If you can stay rational while everyone else is losing their mind, you'll look like a genius. But you're not. It's just that mediocrity is so common that sanity looks exceptional. The foundation of everything I've done comes down to one word: rationality. People hear that and think it means being cold or robotic. It doesn't. Rationality is emotional discipline. It's the ability to let reason speak louder than fear or greed. Most people are emotional first and rational only when it's convenient. They buy when they feel good, sell when they feel scared, and then blame the market when they lose. I never blamed the market. I blamed the mirror. You can't control the world, but you can control how you think about it. That's power. Once you understand your own psychology, the world becomes predictable. That's when you stop chasing noise and start compounding truth. I spent my life studying how the mind fails. The biggest enemy isn't the government, the Fed, or the competition. It's you. Every bias, every impulse, every craving for quick reward, those are the termites that eat through sound judgment. I made it my mission to find them, name them, and starve them out. You can't defeat stupidity unless you study it. That's why I built my own checklist: incentive bias, social proof, authority bias, commitment bias, and on and on. I learned to ask, what am I missing? Where am I fooling myself? That one question probably saved me millions. Most people are so desperate to be right that they forget to be less wrong. I never wanted to be brilliant. I wanted to be correct. There's a difference. Brilliance wants attention. Correctness builds empires quietly. The other advantage I had was curiosity. Not the casual kind, the obsessive kind, the kind that never ends. I didn't study business alone. I studied physics, biology, psychology, history. The world isn't divided by subjects. Only schools think that way. Real life is multidisciplinary. If you want to understand reality, you have to collect mental models from everywhere. I call it the lattice work of knowledge. Each discipline adds a new lens. Physics teaches you the limits of systems. Biology teaches you adaptation. Psychology teaches you how irrational people are. Economics teaches you incentives. Stack them together and the world stops being random. You start seeing patterns that others miss. That's how I've always thought, cross-pollination. The best ideas rarely come from your own field. They come from the intersection of many. The great advantage of a multidisciplinary mind is that it compounds faster than money ever could. Every idea connects to another. Every principle reinforces the rest. The more connections you see, the fewer blind spots you have. And when the world surprises you less, you make better bets. People call it luck, but it's not. It's preparation meeting pattern recognition. Temperament, though, that's the real test. Intelligence gives you tools. Temperament decides whether you use them correctly. The stock market, business, and life all exist to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. The big money isn't made by movement. It's made by waiting. Patience is underrated because it looks like inactivity. People think success means constant hustle. They don't understand that strategic inactivity is often the most productive form of action. If you can sit still long enough, time becomes your employee. That's what I did. I waited years for the right opportunities. When they came, I acted decisively. Patience without action is laziness. Action without patience is recklessness. The balance of the two, that's power. Every panic, every bubble, every craze. It's the same psychological loop. People can't tolerate silence. They need stimulation. But wealth rewards those who can stay bored longer than the competition. The great investors aren't adrenaline junkies. They're stoics with calculators. I remember telling students that the first rule of compounding is not to interrupt it unnecessarily. Most people fail that test. They can't let things grow. They plant a tree and then dig it up every few months to see if it's growing. That's how they kill it. Compounding requires faith, patience, and restraint. The same rule applies to behavior. Character compounds, habits compound, reputation compounds. The small decisions you repeat daily will outgrow any single bold move you make. Success is built quietly, not dramatically. It's not what you do occasionally, it's what you do relentlessly. If you stay consistent long enough, the world eventually calls it genius. But it's not genius, it's just endurance. Integrity for me was never negotiable. I've seen too many smart people ruin themselves because they tried to outsmart morality. You might win for a while, but time exposes everything. Reputation is like oxygen. You only notice it when it's gone. Warren and I never built Berkshire on cleverness. We built it on trust. We didn't need thick contracts or lawyers at every meeting because we knew what we stood for. That saved energy, reduced friction, and created predictability. Integrity is the ultimate efficiency hack. It removes the need for complexity. If you do business long enough, you'll learn that the rarest currency in the world is predictability. People want to know you'll do what you said, when you said, the way you said. That's worth more than any profit margin. And once people trust you, opportunity finds you on its own. I see young people today chasing attention instead of credibility. They trade reputation for clicks, speed for depth, and wonder why no one takes them seriously after a few years. You can't build a legacy on trends. You build it on truth. Truth doesn't expire. Most of my wealth came not from doing extraordinary things, but from avoiding stupid things repeatedly. I didn't chase hype. I didn't over-leverage. I didn't partner with liars. I didn't sell what I wouldn't buy myself. That's not genius, it's sanity. You don't need to predict the future. You just need to survive the present without making catastrophic mistakes. That alone will put you ahead of 90% of people. Freedom, not money, was always my goal. I wanted the ability to say no to nonsense, to stupidity, to people who waste time. That's the highest luxury on earth, the right to ignore. Money, after a certain point, stops improving life, but independence, mental, financial, intellectual, makes life worth living. That's what I wanted, to be free to think and to read all day. The irony is, once you stop chasing money, it starts finding you. Because when you operate on principle instead of desperation, people notice. Notice. They sense you're not playing the same game. You become the calm in the storm. That calm attracts opportunity. People often ask me for a list of shortcuts. There aren't any. The road to wealth is paved with the same dull bricks: patience, discipline, rational thought, integrity, compounding. That's it. If you want excitement, buy a lottery ticket. If you want wealth, repeat fundamentals. Most people won't because fundamentals are boring. They'd rather be entertained than educated. But boredom is where the compounding hides. The older I get, the more I realize that the goal of life isn't to be brilliant. It's to be useful, calm, and independent. Money helps, sure, but meaning comes from building something that lasts longer than you do. You can't take wealth with you, but you can leave behind clarity, systems, and ideas that outlive your body. That's real immortality, when your principles keep paying dividends long after you're gone. If you want an easier life, lower your expectations of the world and raise your expectations of yourself. People waste decades waiting for fairness. The world was never designed to be fair. It was designed to reward adaptation. Adapt faster than average, and you'll do fine. You can't control luck, but you can control preparation. You can't eliminate risk, but you can manage stupidity. That's the edge. The best way to predict your future is to deserve it. Deserve success by becoming the kind of person who would have earned it. Deserve trust by acting in a way that earns it. Deserve happiness by living with discipline and compassion. People overcomplicate life because it sells books and seminars. But the truth is embarrassingly simple. Work hard, think clearly, save money and avoid debt. Keep learning and don't be an idiot. If you do that for 50 years, you'll end up wealthy, respected, and peaceful. That's not a guarantee. It's just what happens when you don't sabotage yourself. Every day I remind myself, take a simple idea and take it seriously. That's been my compass for nearly a century. When you find truth, stick to it. Don't abandon a good idea because the crowd gets bored. Don't interrupt compounding because you're restless. Don't let envy make you stupid. If you can master patience, integrity, and rational thought, you won't just get rich, you'll become untouchable. Not in the arrogant sense, but in the psychological sense. The noise won't shake you. The panic won't tempt you. You'll see through the illusion and operate from calm. That's the real game. I never predicted the future. I just prepared my mind to profit from it. If you do the same, if you build a mind that stays rational when others lose theirs, you won't need luck. You'll create inevitability. And when you reach that point, wealth will just be a byproduct of who you became while learning to think. That, my friends, is what I've learned about wealth and life.